Welcome to The Joyful Exchange, a podcast from Foundation for the Nations, also known as FFTN.
Ever wish there was a philanthropic, Christ-centered giving vehicle where you decide the giving and have fun doing it? Welcome to FFTN.
FFTN aims to draw together Youth for Christ projects from around the world with those who have the capacity to help them. Our motto is wealth into worth for the world, and our desire is to help those who are cash rich but time poor to make good decisions about where to invest their hard-earned money. Our FFTN staff and board have over 200 years' experience in working within the Youth for Christ family. Youth for Christ uniquely reaches young people in ways that are relevant to them in the context of their culture and life circumstances, giving every young person in every nation an opportunity to be a follower of Jesus Christ. For more details, see the links in the podcast bio. Okay, joining me today on the Joyful Exchange is Kiki. Kiki is the National Director for YFC in Serbia. As you all know, we're on this road trip in the Balkans. Ruben and myself. Ruben is the Regional Director, and we have arrived at our final location, which is Serbia. So Kiki, great to have you. Listen, introduce yourself, give us a few interesting facts about your life, and let's go from there.
First of all, welcome to Serbia. Welcome to Belgrade. It's my honor to have you here, and it's good to see you again back in Serbia.
That's right, we were chatting earlier. We said it was 2019 when I was here last, yeah.
It's good to have you. And about myself, I don't even know where to start from. But my name is Kristian Vuckovich. No one calls me that way.
Kiki for short.
Kiki is the easiest way for people to remember me. I was born in Yugoslavia in 1999 during war, big tensions here. And I've changed 4 countries and I haven't changed my home address.
Wow.
So that's a fun fact for you all listening.
Yeah.
At that time, I think any belief was very restricted. During communism and during Yugoslavia. And my mother was really searching for God. And so 1999, during US bombing Serbia, because of tensions with this entire region and Kosovo and everything, she was searching for God. And she found him in a local Christian fellowship church in Novi Sad, where I was born in. And so that's where my faith journey started slowly. Before that, my mother was heavily into New Age. I could say she was today it would be a modern witch. So there's something I learned just a couple of years ago. There was 3 children that were aborted before I was born. Supposed to be aborted as a baby, but she told me that she went into like a longer term and it couldn't be done legally.
Okay.
And in the middle of all this darkness, she gave me name.
Kristian.
Kristian.
Wow.
So I feel like, that God definitely had a plan. And while I was in her stomach, she did some rituals, walking on coal, and who knows what. But God had different plans.
Wow.
So I'm somehow here in His will.
Incredible.
Yes.
Wow, what a story. What has been your journey to becoming the National Director of Serbia? Give us a few highlights along the road.
Well, but I have to honor my wife. I'm married for 13 years. I got married when I was 20. And so she's amazing. Love of my life, helps me in all of my shenanigans and things that I'm doing. I like to say that I'm a professional fun ever in ministry. So I think it's hard for her. And she's a very introverted person, polar opposite of me. We have 2 kids. One is almost 10, so getting into the teenage vibes. Mateo, I'm really proud of him. And my daughter, she's almost 7 now, turning 7 in a couple of days.
Hannah?
Yes. So fun life with them. How I started to work for YFC, I'm a part of a big band called Serbia Worship. It's a worship band who wants to grow in our music and in our sound. And we heard that there's some guy called Marian Lipovski.
Oh, I've heard of him. Just for our listeners, Marian is on the board of FFTN. So he was the National Director for Youth for Christ Slovakia, then was a Regional Director as well, and he's been very much involved. He was an inspiration for you.
can't just say inspiration, but so when we went there, I love Marian. I think he knows this. But when we went there, he showed us around the camp because people who were coming with us also were interested in his camp.
So this is Camp Fest in Kralovaly Hota.
In Slovakia.
Yeah.
So we were there. He showed us the place. We slept in a nice wooden house. It was so quiet. My ears were buzzing like for 2 days. And because all the noise I was used to. And he shared about YFC. And he, after we finished talking about everything, he was like, hey, my heart is really in this. And there is someone doing YFC ministry, but not really anymore. And I'm praying for someone. So if you know anyone, please, connect me somehow. I would love to have some. And I was so passionate about it. I was like, yes, man, I will pray. We need youth ministry in Serbia. I know everyone. I will find someone, you know? And we finished the conversation and he stood up and my friends were looking at me and they were like, bro, this is for you. And I was like, oh. He was like, we should talk. And I was like, yeah, we should. And so he told me about this and then he said, I will come to Serbia in a month. Let's talk. If he did, and this is where it started.
Wow. Incredible. So let's think then about Serbia. What a story to start with in terms of just the tension and the war and everything else. What's it like for young people today in Serbia? What are some of the stresses, the strains, the hopes, the aspirations for the future?
It's a hard question because I think it has layers. Peel off a bunch of layers. I think the hardest and the biggest one is our nationality, our identity. We are a very Orthodox country and this is our part of our identity, you know, and I think all of young people struggle to understand. For many of them, it's not nice living in Serbia. Last couple of years, like probably 10 to 15 years, young people left our country. The brightest and the best people, I would say, left to Germany, Switzerland, and, you know, Canada. Especially after the war and everything. So I think it's the same in a way now. And there's now, again, tension in our country. For them, this is a big struggle. They love their country. People are proud of where they were born. I think you can't really practice that here because you're not proud of the way the country is being led. And so I think that's a first big obstacle. Second is just, hey, the world today offers a lot of things. And I feel like the real identity comes when you meet the person who made you. And it's hard because in a way, it is presented to young people that they know who God is. And we are called Orthodox Christians here. So it's very religious. It would be easier for me to talk to a Muslim or an atheist about Jesus than to talk to someone who thinks they know Jesus about Jesus. Because then there's no deep relationship. So I think those are like hard parts. For us as believers here, I think also a climate is changing but because of internet. In a way, it brings some bad stuff, but it brings also some good stuff. It brought one confusion, and that's identity, because of everything that you can say you are now, and because of all the agendas that world pushes on us. But also, Christianity became mainstream. People know about Christianity. It's not like a cult, a sect.
Let's talk about some of the things that you've been doing over the years to reach young people. You've had camps that you've been running that have been great opportunities for young people to get to know the person of Jesus and learn what it means to have a relationship with him and then plug in with local church. But the one thing I wanted to get to was that vision the Lord gave you way back in 2019 or probably before that, but we met back then, about finding a third space, like some way of bridging into the community that's maybe not church and say not school, but it's a third space. Talk a little bit about the Lighthouse Coffee Shop and just the vision you had for that.
It's sweet and sour.
You know? I think you can get both those in coffee, can't you? You can get coffee that's a bit sweet and coffee that's a bit sour.
Of course. Again, it's a cherry on top or a crown on the already well-established and I could say influential ministry. I want to say something before I dive into this. It's one of the big things that we were doing is prayer evangelism. So we went out on the streets and shared gospel. And I remember one topic, friends from YFC Canada was here, brought some people who were helping us do that. We organized a huge conference. Marian Otpolski was here with his band.
Oh, wow. Conference.
And we went out to the city. We trained them how to share gospel. And we wanted to baptize one lady who was Canadian. And on the way there to Danube River, we met a couple of young people, Serbs. And we talked to them about Jesus. One of them gave their life to God.
Wow.
On the spot. We went there. This lady gets baptized, gets out of the water. In the same time, this is happening like simultaneously. This guy is giving his life to God. He says, okay, what is next? And we were like, well,
baptism.
Yeah. He took his clothes off.
And not all of them.
No, just his pants.
Yeah.
And he went into the water.
Wow.
And so we baptized him. It was surreal. Like I was living in 35, 80.
Yes. Yeah.
I was like, whoa, what is happening?
This is like first century Christianity. Yeah.
Like,
believe and be baptized. Yes. Let's do it now.
And we did it, and he went out, and we were like all clapping and cheering. There was like 50 people there. People were watching what was happening. And he went out of the water, and he said, okay, give me a minute. And he put his head down. We were all quiet. And he said, let's change the world. And I was like, whoa, what is happening? So after all that, of course, sadly, we lost him to Orthodoxy. But on top of all that, camp ministry, this discipling young people, investing, mentoring. I had a dream to have a coffee shop, having a third place, of course, but also building a bridge to our community because churches were very closed in, didn't go out, there was no evangelism. This was the first time I saw anyone do it. So this was a place where I felt like it was a covered place for believers and unbelievers to intertwine and for us to show by our life that we are.
Yes.
And this was the idea behind the coffee shop. And got the funds from Foundation for Nation, and I was like, wow. So in a way, it was the best thing ever.
Yeah.
But then COVID hit.
Yeah.
And it was a struggle. But even though it was a struggle, we had a lot of impact. I had the opportunity to meet a lot of people. Now, when I go back, I walk to the city center.
Yeah.
I know everyone.
Yeah.
And people heard about Christ.
Yeah.
That was a good thing. There was many people who gave their life to Jesus. One of them is one of my very close friends now, and I'm his best man. His name is Dennis. He grew up in church, and I gave him an opportunity to work in the coffee shop, but he wasn't a believer at that time. And through this period, me talking to him and everything, I was explaining to him what is our point. It's not just to sell coffee, but to sell Jesus. This sounds bad.
I don't know what you mean.
And so he was trying to do it as a person who doesn't know him. And so in this period of time, he met Jesus for real, and he met his now wife, who wasn't a believer, and he became a believer. So they live happily ever after. A fun fact, they're opening a coffee shop in the same city.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
So I didn't tell you this. So this is how do you say?
Fresh off the press. Yeah.
Sorry. Do you remember we were going to share really fast if the listeners were wondering how they could get involved? We actually have 2 practical ways that they can do this. So the first way is as an enabling partner, you can commit to pray. And if you'd like, contribute monthly to help the foundation keep its wheels on the road. The other way is as a project partner, you can sit around the table at one of our annual gatherings and give your hard-earned cash with confidence to some of these wonderful projects that we've been discussing.
I was there in 2019 and it looked so good. Everything about it was so good. The branding, the coffee, the space was good, but just COVID hit. And that was something that none of us had the foresight of. Coffee shops couldn't open, and then when they could eventually open, they could only do takeaway, and then you're still paying the rent, and there was just obstacles in the way of it continuing. What was it like trying to operate a business during that with the view to reaching people that could really even come to the place?
Kanye West would say God's plan. It was hard for me to understand why. Because again, I said that was very important for me to communicate. It was really a crown or a cherry on top. It was a struggle because I didn't understand some basic principles, and I didn't meet God in that way. And the key point for me is I did not understand that there's 2 types of deserts in a person's life, and one is caused by sin, and one is caused to make you overcome everything and to grow you. And the one Jesus was in wasn't there because he was in sin. So I thought I was in sin. I did something wrong. And that was the reason for everything suffering. So I was very depressed. It was very hard on me because I couldn't figure it out. I was questioning myself, my faith. It was a really dark period of time. And I started a podcast at the time and called it Path of Growth, my personal growth, where I tried to talk to psychiatrists and psychologists about what I was going through in a way and have people see the progress or lack thereof. And so it was really tough for me, and especially it caused some hardships in my life. And I thought I failed because we had to close the coffee shop after 4 years of running it. And we just went out of COVID. We just got funds from Foundation for Nation to continue the work, and we had to stop. Of course, we saw it as a failure for me. I failed at something that God let me be guardian of or like care of. But it brought a lot of good things in my life and other people's lives. But it was hard for me to see it and to wait to see God's plan in this story. And so the good part is that I'm now a person who people call when they open coffee shops, and that became a trend here that people saw this as a ministry model to reach out to their city. And so I'm helping everyone who needs help to open a coffee shop here.
You gained a lot of skills during that time, didn't you? Like you were sampling coffee, you were trained in how to be a barista. There was so much positive formational things that came from it.
Definitely, but I just couldn't see it. You know, it's hard and it was very rough. But eventually God let me see the bigger picture. And so I'm very grateful. And then the landlord really liked me. Like he says that I brought him back hope for humankind. He had a bad experience with everyone. He owns a lot of real estate, and I was the only one paying on time, doing everything.
Yes, I remember even talking about that. You were saying that people try to figure out the loopholes and expose them, but you were making sure as a Christian that you were doing everything as the city would want. And that was a way of even demonstrating your faith to the landlord and the city officials. As you look forward then into the future, where do you see God at work? And my understanding, just as we have walked and talked, is that your vision hasn't changed and your heart hasn't changed. You still want to be that bridge in the community that's reaching young people and all of that.
I was called to continue pursuing the vision I believe God has on my life, but in a different area, in a way, with church planting and being a pastor. God is still good, sovereign, and he knows what he wants to accomplish. And he usually uses flawed people, changes their hearts, and does whatever he planned on. And I think I told you this before, but I prayed that I want God to use me for something that's out of my control or jurisdiction.
Be careful what you pray for. I think that's why when Jesus taught us to pray, it's kind of subject to God's will. Your will, as it is in heaven, let it be so on earth. I know from my own personal experience, I actually, when I reflect back, I don't want my will. I want his will. It's always better.
But I think you said this the best. I think this is all coming full circle.
Yeah.
I feel like the vision for a coffee shop is still the same because it is something that is where our people are, they feel
at home. It's their culture. Yeah.
And so, and again, one of the vision is to be part of the culture of the city.
Yeah.
We want to be part of the culture of the city. The only way to do that is to do something that city does.
Yeah.
And this is one of it, drinking coffee and hanging out, you know.
Yeah.
And so even with church, of course, I'm planning to resurrect Lighthouse.
Yeah. As we begin to just close out the podcast, any final reflections as you look back or as you move forward, like anything that's on your heart that you want to share with our listeners?
A lot of things. I think one very important thing that I've learned through all of this is to stay close to God. And there's one story in the Bible that hit me hard and is still in a way very relevant and alive in my life. There was a struggle in Israel while David was a king, and he asked God, okay, God, why is this happening? And he asked, how can I fix this? We're doing something wrong. And he says, well, Saul killed some nation and you should go there and say sorry. And so David did. He went there. He said, hey guys, it's me, David, how can I mend this relationship and say sorry for what Saul did? And they said, give us 7 heads of Saul's sons.
Uh-huh.
He didn't think, he didn't go to God. He just went back, got their heads, brought them back. And the hunger stopped, but God wasn't happy with his decision.
Yeah.
And I feel like many times this happened in my life.
Yeah.
I can't say that it wasn't God's vision.
Yeah.
I can't say I wasn't completely a good steward of it.
Yeah.
Fully.
Yeah.
Because I felt, God told me to run the coffee shop. And so this, I think, I had a hard lesson to learn. And this speaks to me very deeply, to always go back and ask for help. Because probably God wouldn't say, yes, it's okay to kill 7 sons of Saul. He probably would say, offer them, I don't know, goats and sheep and money and gold and whatever,
Yeah.
But then we can make a lot of mistakes thinking that we are in God's will.
Yeah.
Even though God is the one sending us, if we don't keep the relationship. And this reflects on why Jesus died for us.
Yeah.
And this is the main message I'm preaching today, is the encounter that was once broken because of sin and now is restored because of Jesus.
Yeah.
And so this is the thing I can't really forget.
Yeah.
To go back and invest in that relationship with Jesus. So that's fun.
No, that's really good, because I think you're right. Normally we would think of David as someone who always sought the Lord, but he had times when he didn't, and he got into trouble. And that's a good reminder that in every way and every day we seek the Lord, Okay, we have a little fun segment called the Joyful Six.
The
6
Joyful
questions.
Six.
You say the first thing that comes to your mind in response. The one word your friends would use to describe you.
Crazy.
Okay. Tea or coffee?
Coffee.
A scripture or a quote that's inspiring you right now.
We have everything we need for life and godliness.
What's your favorite place in your country that you think everyone should experience?
Probably Belgrade. Let's say city center Belgrade.
Fabulous. If you weren't in ministry, what's another role you could see yourself doing?
Ministry.
Okay, but give us something more than that. If not, what would you be? A dentist?
No, I probably would do something creative. I'm already doing it, so probably video, something regarding videography.
Okay, cool. Last question then. What's bringing you joy in this season of life?
God keeping me where I am. He still trusts me and believes in me, so that brings me a lot of joy, that I know I can make mistakes and I can still live and be.
Amazing. Great. Listen, Kiki, it's been great to talk to you today. Like I said, we were here in 2019 initially to connect with you, and now it's 2026, and we look forward to connecting with you in the future as well to see what God is up to in your life.
I hope you like a warm beverage, because for all those that feature on the podcast, we have a little thank you. Our No Mug mug, inspired by the words of Jim Elliot, the famous American missionary. He is no mug, that is, he is no fool, who gives up what he cannot keep to gain what he cannot lose. One of those is on its way to you. And to our listeners, we hope you'll join us for another Joyful Exchange, when we'll be featuring inspiring conversations with visionary partners, ministry leaders, and change agents who are transforming wealth into worth for the world.
Foundation for the Nations is a Christ-centered giving vehicle facilitating Christian philanthropy and kingdom-minded investment, creating opportunities to make an eternal difference in the lives of young people around the globe served by Youth for Christ. You've been listening to the Joyful Exchange podcast. For more details, see www.fftn.org/joyfulexchange.